call it a rug. Rhymes with Grug. I call this one a ride. Rhymes with Grug.
That doesn't really rhyme.
Call this an air fryer. Rhymes with Grug.
Ooh, I like that one.
I call this a shorty car.
What?
Rhymes with Grug.
Where are you getting these things?
Call this one the Southern Border Crisis.
Oh!
Rhymes with Grug.
Why are you doing this to me?
I call it cyanide. Rhymes with Grug.
Please help.
I call this a bug's life. Rhymes with a Grug's life.
All right, you know what? That's
And I
enough.
call this a...
No, seriously, please stop. All right, all your ideas are terrible. Just enough.
I call it curb stomping.
Ah! No. Rhymes with Grug!
I call this getting mugged. Rhymes with Grug.
I can't feel my anything.
And I call this an A10 warthog. Rhymes with Grug. I call this one a slip and slide. Rhymes with Grug.
There's only pain.
I call it a good dad. Rhymes.
Are you sure?
I don't understand any of this.
I call it peak. Rhymes with Grug.
Somebody please kill me.
And I call this one rhymes with Grug. Rhymes with Grug.
The sweet release of death.
I call it style. Rhymes with Grug. My bones. I call it
April 12th, 2036.
rhymes with Grug. I call this a pixie stick. Rhymes with Grug. And I call this one crude stew.
Does that rhyme with Grug?
And I call this Battlefront 3. I want it. Now. And I call this a thug. Rhymes with Grug.
On gang.
I call this one crippling depression. I call this a Part 49 leak. Rhymes with Grug.
Stop.
And I call this one...
Oh, seriously, I beg of you. Please put an end to this nightmare.
I call it Xbox. I call this a hospital visit.
Stay away from me.
We're going on an adventure.
No!
I call it a pug. Rhymes with Grug. I call it a Switch 2. Rhymes with Grug.
Overpriced games.
And I call this one Rhymes with Grug 2. Rhymes with Grug 2. The endless cycle continues. I call these younglings. Rhymes with Grug.
Just pull the plug.
I call it dementia. Rhymes with Grug. And I call this a job application. Does not rhyme with Grug. I call it dementia. Rhymes with Grug. And I call this an ender pearl. Rhymes with Grug.
What did I do to deserve this torment?
I call this Afghanistan.
Ah! Why are we even here?
That's the question we were asking for 20 years.
Ah!
I call it dementia. Rhymes with Grug. I call this one the moonwalk. Rhymes with Grug. If we could curse on this channel, I would be. I call this a peanut allergy. Rhymes with...
I've got another rhyme. No, you don't. I call this the Squid Game. You gotta be shitting me. Round to Grug. I call this Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Don't even say it. Rhymes with Metal Grug.
Ah!